A Cuban-born mother was deported by the U.S. without her one-year-old child, tearing the family apart indefinitely.
In another case, they deported a 2-year-old girl who is a U.S. citizen along with her Honduran-born mother.
Said she was separated from her young daughter by the Trump administration is speaking out. Heidy Sánchez lived for 6 years in the U.S. And though she tried to become a legal resident, she was placed in the deportation proceedings after missing an immigration hearing in 2019. Late April, she showed up for a routine appointment with immigration officials. She was told she was being deported to Cuba.
What they told her was that she needed to call her husband and that she needed to ask him to come and pick up the baby. There was not an option of, oh, I want to take my baby. Can I take her?
Heidy now lives with relatives on the outskirts of Havana. There's no cell signal inside the house. She climbs to the roof to call her daughter and to sing her to sleep. In Florida, Heidy said she was working as a nursing assistant and she had no criminal record.
A Cuban mother who left behind her infant daughter and American citizen husband as ICE deported her from Tampa on Thursday of last week. Heidy Sánchez held an I-220B supervision order, which is issued to people who already have an active deportation order. It allowed her to stay in the country as long as she complied with rules like attending check-in appointments, which is where she was when she was detained. Her family said she was in the process of getting her green card when she was deported last week. Now, she had an outstanding deportation order after missing an immigration hearing back in 2019. She was detained for 9 months, but because Cuba refused to take her back at the time, she was released in 2020 under an order to check in with ICE regularly, which she did. In an interview with Reuters, she's alleging ICE told her that her 1-year-old daughter had to stay and she had to go. Now, ICE is denying that, saying they gave her a choice and she chose to leave her child behind with her husband. And then on another quick note tied to all of this, her husband apparently sought legal residence in the U.S. for Sanchez 2 years ago as a result of their marriage, but he hasn't gotten a response back yet. So you've got new mother literally breastfeeding her child, came here illegally, no question about that. But aside from that, sounds like she's been an upstanding resident, married a U.S. citizen, started a family. And so the question is that the kind of illegal immigrant we should be deporting right now, especially back to a communist country like Cuba?
This is a family that did have legal options available to them. And because of ICE's actions of holding them incommunicado for 3 days, those options were not able to be pursued, and that can't feel anything but intentional.
And that's not all. Migrant children, including a 4-year-old girl, are reportedly attending deportation hearings alone in New York without legal representation. In February 2025, Trump cut all funding for legal aid to 26,000 unaccompanied immigrant children. Children, some as young as toddlers, must appear in court to stay in the U.S. without representation. 9 in 10 face deportation, according to reports. Experts warn that this policy further traumatizes vulnerable children, while advocates call for legal protection and a more humane approach to asylum cases. This mirrors a systematic issue in the U.S. child welfare system, where low-income families of color are disproportionately targeted for state interventions. Amnesty International's latest annual report warns of a global right crisis as the, quote, Trump effect fuels abuses. The report details how U.S. asylum access was severely restricted by new border policies, forcing many, especially Black, Indigenous, and LGBTQ+ people to wait in danger in Mexico, with limited rights and increased surveillance.
A Cuban mom was just deported by ICE, leaving her baby daughter behind in the United States. This heartbreaking case has shocked many people, but at the same time, it's a reminder of the real effects of America's tough immigration policies. Heidy Sánchez came to the U.S. from Cuba in 2019. She was not hiding, she followed the rules. She checked in with immigration officers like they asked. She got married to an American citizen and they had a baby girl in 2023. Heidy was breastfeeding her daughter and taking care of her just like any loving mother would. But on April 22, 2025, Heidy went to another ICE check-in like she always did. She didn't expect anything different, but this time, ICE told her that she was going to be deported immediately. They gave her no real warnings, no chance to say goodbye properly, and no way to stay with her daughter. Within 48 hours, Hayes was sent back to Cuba. Her daughter, just 1 year old, was taken away and handed over to a lawyer. Her husband, Carlos, wasn't even allowed to see his wife or child. Now Hayes is in Cuba, far from her baby, who was still breastfeeding. This is the kind of pain no family should ever go through. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Rosemary. Kindly consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we get to the video, let me play a few clips on the same and I'll be back with my commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of these videos.
A Cuban mother has been deported from the United States despite being married to a U.S. citizen. And they also have a daughter, and she's only 1 year old. And she was also born in the United States. The woman's name is Heidy Sánchez Tejeda, and it's been confirmed that today in the morning, she arrived on a flight full of other people that were deported into Cuba. Heidy had arrived to the United States about, give or take, 5 years ago. And in those 5 years, she was living in the United States, very free and living life. She had a problem where she couldn't apply for asylum. A lot of people in the comments were saying, how was she here for 5 years? You got to keep in mind, Joe Biden had no problem with immigrants. But now that Donald Trump is in office and he doesn't want no immigrants in the United States, Heidy went to her first meeting for immigration. She went with confidence, but the Donald Trump administration said, hey, they detained her and deported her back to Cuba. And this morning, she was put on a flight and arrived in Cuba. Let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. And like always, don't forget to follow for more viral news. Ciao, pescado.
This is not just a sad story, it's a very ironic one. Why? Because in Florida, especially in Miami, many Cuban Americans voted for Donald Trump. In fact, Cuban voters have been one of Trump's strongest Latino supporters. They believed Trump was strong on the economy, strong against socialism, and better for Cuba's future. Some even waved flags and said Trump was their guy. But now, under Trump's immigration influence, a Cuban mother who followed the law is being torn away from her child. This is the same Trump who promised to deport millions of immigrants and bring back fast-track deportation. This is the same Trump who made it easier for ICE to separate families, just like what happened to his. So here's the question. How can you support someone who turns around and harms your own people? Many Cubans voted for Trump thinking it would hurt others. Maybe Mexicans, maybe Central Americans. They thought, we are different, we are not like them. We are legal. We followed the rules. But now, they are seeing what happens when you support policies that treat immigrants like problems instead of people. What makes this even worse is how coded, heartless the process was. Hayes was crying. Her baby was crying. But the officers didn't seem to care. Her husband begged for more time. But ICE just said, no, she's leaving. This is not how a country should treat mothers and children. And yet, the people who helped put Trump in power are now watching their own community suffer. The same Cubans who filled voting booths to support Trump are now shocked when ICE comes for them too. This is what many people call a FAFO moment. It means that when you make choices without thinking about the consequences, you might suffer later. Cuban Trump voters are starting to find out what their support helped build the very system that is now breaking their families apart. What's also sad is that the daughter is a US citizen. She has every right to stay in the country. But now, she's growing up without her mom. Many Americans are angry about this case. Not just immigrants, people of all backgrounds are saying this is cruel, inhuman, and unnecessary. But where are the Cuban Trump supporters now? Are they speaking out? Are they saying this is wrong? Hayes' story is a warning to all immigrant communities. No matter how safe you think you are not safe under these kinds of policies. If they can do this to a breastfeeding mom who followed the rules, they can do it to anyone else. It's time for people to wake up. You can't support harsh immigration laws and then cry when they hurt your neighbor or your own family. You can't vote for a man who promises mass deportations and then act surprised when those deportations come for you. So let's remember Heidy Sánchez, not just as a victim, but as a symbol of what happens when a community turns its back to injustice. She deserved better, her daughter deserved better, and we all deserve a country where families are protected, not torn apart. Hence, deportation should be a wake-up call, not just for Cubans, but for every immigrant who thinks they are safe, because of who they voted for. In the end, injustice doesn't care who you are, and the system you helped build might just come knocking on your next door. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.